Good afternoon. This is Profit Lifter Live. Today we are going to be having some fun. We are going to be building out an AI call bot. An AI call bot. What does that mean? That means if you've got a list of hundreds, thousands, millions of people, how are you going to engage them? Are you going to call them all, or do you want to have the robots call them? My guess and my opinion is AI is awesome. It's getting there. Let's utilize AI to the best that we can. So today, what we're going to be doing is it's going to be part one of a couple different Snap-on build outs. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be brainstorming, brain dumping, thinking through what does an AI callbot workflow look like? What do we need to do? How do we need to engage it? What happens inside of the CRM once the calls are made? How do we translate the information? I mean, there's all sorts of questions that we're going to be asking ourselves here, and that we're going to be looking at. And for those of you guys who are joining me, things are a little bit different today than they have been, just simply because of some changes on Facebook. So I'm trying to manage YouTube and Facebook at the same time, keeping things going here, but that's all right. So if you're here, give me a hi. Let me know that you're hanging out with me. And as always, feel free to ask questions as we're going through this. Love to hear back from you guys and get some feedback. And if there's any questions or any thoughts that you have while we're building this out, let me know. I'd be more than happy to incorporate them and think through this. So, all right, let's get rocking and rolling here. Let's make sure I got the right screen pulled up. 1 second. Let's get back to my big screen here. Okay. All right, so here we go. We're going to let's talk about our AI. Let's talk about our AI callbot workflow mapping. So the first thing that we're going to do here is we're actually going to be thinking through what are our goals, meaning what do we want the robots to do for us? What are we going to have the AI to do? And the reason for this is anytime you're mapping out automations or you're working through different strategies, you need to be thinking about what is the end goal, what am I trying to accomplish, and then you kind of just build it backwards from there. So the first thing, and I'm going to give you guys some of my opinions and takes on things that are happening in the AI world, feedback that I'm getting from people, and what's working, what's not working. Just so that way, like if this is a strategy that you want to implement, you will have that ability. And before we get going on much further, I want to show you guys, those of you guys who've been hanging out with me for a minute, I want to show you like all the cool stuff that we've been building, that we're launching this week. First off, we've got our Snap-ons library that we are very, very, very close to launching. You can see down here, I have our AI callbot workflow already mapped out, getting ready to give away, meaning that all the stuff that we're covering here is going to be available as a Snap-on. And the other really cool thing about this system is with the AI callbots. Let me show you here real quick. And we're just going to hop into our account here. What I want to show you is that these callbots are not expensive that we're going to be leveraging. These callbots are actually available right through the App Store, inside of your Profit Lifter account, meaning that there's no setup fees, nothing like that. And the beauty of it, the thing that really got me to fall in love with this system. Hey, Christopher, glad you could be here with me today. What's up, Brett? Glad you're here. Good to see you here on this bright, shiny Tuesday. But the other thing that I want to show you is with these call bots that are in here. There's one of them in particular, and we'll dive deep on this. But these are actually incorporated right into your CRM, meaning that you're going to have functionality inside of here that is just it's going to blow your mind. It's so cool. I'm really excited about doing this. This is something I've been wanting to do for a while. But now that we've got some of our Snap-ons and some of the other stuff rolling out, it's a great time for us to start implementing this. But first off, again, just to reiterate, this will be available to you guys through the Snap-on library. But today we're going to be building this out because it doesn't do any good to give you something if it's not built. So let's think through some of the goals of how you're going to want your AI callbot to work. So the first thing that we're going to call this first one. We're going to call this first one setter functions. For those of you guys who are unaware of what a setter is basically a lot of times it's people from that are your VA workers that, like, when a lead calls in, they call them trying to get them to set up a consultation, schedule an appointment, answer questions. It's kind of the step in between. Somebody opting in and somebody signing up for a consultation to speak with you directly. So what's going to happen is, like, as you're running ads, as traffic's coming in, as people are downloading your guides, as they're opting into your list, we're going to set up the AI Callbot to actually make outbound calls to them, welcoming them, and really just pushing them into an appointment. So we're going to call that one setter functions because that's all I got for right now. The next one we're going to call this operations. And for operations, what I'm going to be looking at for the operations is going to be a little more. It's going to be more geared towards, like, somebody missing a payment. It may be like customer support, account management, things like that, where it's taking all of the daily calls off of you. So by the time you're talking with them, that it can really just be like diving into the middle of the conversation, really jumping into it. And the last one we're going to call sales. Now, I will fully disclose that I do not completely trust the AI on just handling all the sales for me yet. So just be aware that's something that I think now let me preface this by by saying, if you're selling a small ticket item, if you're doing like e-commerce purchases, things like that, I think AI bots really could be used efficiently for that process. But I think for trying to close more higher ticket purchases, things that are probably $400 or $500 and above, I think that's really where it's going to need to be, like, a person actually talking to them. But we're still going to map this out because, you know what, might as well try. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I mean, it's no worse than what you're doing. James, what's happening, my friend? Happy Tuesday to you. All right, so now that we've got our goals worked out, we've kind of got our big category of goals. We're going to break this down a little bit further. So setter functions, this one is really going to heavily rely almost solely on just scheduling appointments for us for now. Now there's some other aspects of this that we can get into, but for the most part, it's either going to be we're just going to say scheduler / callback. And what I mean by callback is like the AI bot would be talking and be like, "Hey, do you just want me to have a representative call you as soon as time available?" They would say, "Yeah, sounds great," and then they would put it on your calendar. Not even put it on your calendar, but submit it to you. So we're going to start up here because I think this is probably right now. I feel like the AI call bots working inside of operations and the setter functions are two of the highest or best use cases for the AI. So we're going to start over here. So the first thing that we need to think about is what is the actual trigger, because again, this is the goal. This is what we're trying to get to. Is trying to get it to the point that the AI bot is scheduling an appointment. So to do that, this would be your call settings here, meaning that that's not even going to be your call settings. So here we're going to put this as we're going to call this our automation. This one we're going to call the call. And let's just zoom out, see. And this one we are actually going to call the trigger. Geez, not F. I don't even, Triffer is not even a real word. All right, so now we've kind of mapped out what we're going to need the system to do, what we're going to need the AI callbot to do. First, let's talk about trigger. A trigger is the event that's going to take place that's going to start the automations. It's going to start everything in action. So in this case, what this is going to be, this could actually be. Sorry, it may, I'll be honest with you guys. I didn't have coffee this morning. I was out of coffee and I was in a rush, and so like I had to just run to the store and grab a Monster. If my brain's a little foggy, that's why I'm running dangerously low on caffeine this morning. But we'll get there. Okay, so the trigger, first one is this is going to be an opt-in. Now, this is where you're going to need to determine like what when this is actually going to happen. So when we're talking about, and this is going to break down a lot into like the cost of using the AI. This is going to break down into when it's going to be most efficient, when it's going to be most beneficial for it. But to start with, just one of the first things that you're going to need to think through on this is like what opt-in experience do you want to have happen. So with this, we're going to switch this around, and I'm going to create a list here. So I'm going to say lead magnets. We want it to call up lead magnets. We want it to let's say so we've got our lead magnets. Those are all our big ones. That actually covers a lot of them. Like I thought this was going to be a lot more in depth. So because here's the reason, because if somebody's already scheduled a consultation with you, you're not going to need the AI callbot to go out and schedule another consultation with them. It's already done. It's already there. But if somebody downloads a lead magnet, if they opt in, that's going to be another scenario. Now, one of the places that I would not actually use this is actually going to be newsletters. And so for this one, we're going to strike through newsletters. And the reason that I wouldn't have this actually trigger on a newsletter is because a newsletter is designed for a low commitment opt-in, meaning that you're not looking for a lot of stuff from them. You're really just saying, hey, sign up for my newsletter, and then it's going to happen from there. So we're going to have it opt-in. Now, the first thing that you want to do is you want to create your tag. And let's see if I've got a good shape for a tag. Not really. We're just going to use this one. No, we're not. That's ugly. Let's use this one. Nope. Last time's a charm. Okay. All right. So this is going to be our tag here, meaning that, again, this is where we're going to be. This is where we're going to be keeping track of basically, this is going to be our tracking tag. And the reason that we want this tracking tag here, and let's just call it tracking. That way we know exactly what we're doing. All right. The reason that we want this tracking tag here is because I want you to have the ability that like you can log into your Profit Lifter account. Let me pull up a demo account instead of showing you my information here. The reason that we want this is because I want you to be able to go under your contact records here and pull up a smart list of everybody who's in your everybody who would be in your AI callbots. That way you can keep track of it. You can see and really know how many people that are going to be there. So we're going to create our tracking tag there for it. This tag is going to basically, this is what's going to trigger the actual call itself. So we're going to start with our tracking tag there. And I know it doesn't need to be pretty for you, but it needs to be pretty for me. All right. So, and this again, guys, this is not going to have an impact on anything else that we're doing with it at the moment. Meaning that, like, if you have a lead magnet and they opt in, they're still going to get the emails. They may still get like the text messages, things like that. But now they would actually be getting a call from the AI as well. So we want to put on a tracking tag there. That's going to trigger the call. It's going to work there. Okay. Now let's get into the call. So when somebody's making a call, there's going to be a couple different options that happen. That's going to make this a little bit. That's going to make this part not tedious, um, but this is where it starts really branching off. So first off, we're going to say call connected. Let's create another one over here. This one is going to say left voicemail. Create another one down here. We can call this one no answer. And give me just a second. This is actually something that I forgot all the options that are here. So we're going to run through a quick manual action here. We're actually gonna make a call here with the AI Callbot. Let's see what happens. Or not with the AI Callbot. Sorry, with the power dialer. That's right. It's not gonna work. How do I do this? How do I do this, guys? Let's come over here. Let's go into our Profit Lifter account. And we're going to go to conversations, manual actions. Let's see if I have anybody under me. I'm going to call Will. I don't know if Will's hanging out with us, but he's the first one on here. So we're actually just going to call Will real quick. And he's going to be okay with this. Okay. So, and we're going to hang up. Okay. So this is what I was looking for this whole time. So we're going to go with no answer, busy, voicemail, complete. So let's come back over here. So we've got connected. Okay with me. Good. Glad you don't mind. Let's see. So this one, we're going to say complete. Voicemail. No answer. Busy. Ooh, that's already a mess, isn't it? Okay. So what we're doing, though, we're untangling the mess. Okay, so when you make your call, there's going to be these four options. It's either going to be complete, it's going to be voicemail, busy, no answer. So the first thing that we want to do based off of this call is we want to figure out. So what we're going to figure out here is we're going to figure out what's going to happen after each of these events takes place. So let's start with completed. All right, so complete, what are we going to have happen? Once it's complete, we are going to, let's change the color of this. Let's make it gray. So if the call is completed, we need to determine we want to determine the outcome. So what this is going to look like on determining the outcome is we're actually going to plug in AI here. Let me show you. Hold on, let me turn this off so I don't just keep calling people randomly. All right, so let me show you what this looks like inside of our demo account here. So what this is going to entail is we're actually going to have the AI analyze the response of the calls for us, and we'll come back to that. And then from there, we're going to send it to a decision diamond. So what we're going to do is we're going to figure out from here, like, was this a successful call or not? Meaning that we're going to say yes, and no. So what we're going to be doing is from here, we're going to be determining, okay, was this call successful based off of the parameters that we set? Meaning that, did it work? Did it not work? If the answer is no, then we're going to need to figure out our next step. If the answer is yes, then this will have connected up over here, and that would end the process, right? I think so. Meaning that, okay, so it comes through here, completes the call, goes through the chat, collects the information. That's the other thing that we want to be thinking through here. Let's do this. We're going to grab all of this stuff here. We're going to move this down because there's a couple other things that we want to add in here. And we're going to call this data collection. So in this conversation now, what we're going to be looking at is we're going to be looking at, okay, once the AI is talking with them, it's collecting information. What information do we need it to collect? And what that's going to do is it's going to tell us, it's really going to tell us how. Sorry, I'm playing around with the designs here, but it's going to tell us like what should happen with it next, and then from there we're going to determine the outcome. Meaning that determining the outcome, we're going to add a text section right here under this outcome. Shrink this way down. Oh, come on. Where'd you go? Okay, so is this SAL qualified? Meaning, does it meet the prerequisites of what you're looking for and what you need in order for you to think it's a good lead to be able to sell it? So that's one of the first things that we're going to be looking for. Is this SAL qualified? And then we need to think through what happens next. So trying to think if there's any other qualifiers that we need for that. Really, as long as we can tell it matches the SAL qualifications, that's going to be the key to it. Now, when we get into actually building out the questions, the responses, what that's going to look like, that's going to get more complex, because at that point, now we're going to be looking at like, what questions are we going to be asking to determine if it's SAL qualified or not. So that's going to be one of the big ones there. So if they do not qualify, what's going to happen? And then from here, this is where I'm going to look at this and go, my first thought process is, if they don't qualify, then we're going to leave them in the nurture campaign. Now, the other thing that you can look at is, like, if you get into it, and one of the things that I always think is smart is when you're up here and you're figuring out SAL qualified. Let's do that. Let's put the we're going to put D&D. Actually, we're going to put dud qualified, meaning that like what scenarios or what outcomes would mean that this lead is just not good at all. It's just not viable. It shouldn't even be in your CRM. And then from there, what are we going to have happen with it? So off this, we're going to create another decision diamond. And we're going to call this one so the first one in this is going to be nurture. First one's going to be nurture. Second one is going to be our dud response, meaning that when this is done, what's going to happen? Nurture sequence. I don't think there's anything that we need to do additionally for this because they've already talked to the AI. You've already determined, what the steps are, what that's going to look like. You determine the outcome. If it's a good outcome, it means the appointment was scheduled or they got a callback notification. And then from here, we're going to need to we'll need to set up the automations to be able to complete that. But for right now, if there's nurture, the only thing that I'm going to want to do here for the automations, this is going to be, we're going to put this in light gray. This one's going to be a little darker gray, actually. Notes on call, meaning that we want to keep track of, we want to have the system automatically leave a note in the CRM, let us know what happened, so that way you can keep track of the call and the response from it. Duds, what we're going to do for the duds is actually going to have it remove the contact. And this is just going to be completely emails and phone calls and additional stuff on it. And these could be people with like bad phone numbers, bad email addresses. They just really, really don't fit your demographic, meaning that like if you're selling business credit, they don't have a business, they're not interested in starting a business, anything like that. That's where they would be a dud for me. So at that point, we're gonna remove the contact. You don't even need to put a note, anything in there to handle that. So this one, we're gonna put a note there. Now let's think through this process. And we want to think through this not like AI is anything different than just a regular person having a phone call. So the next thing that we're going to look at is, okay, let's we get in here and we go, okay, yes, this is good. This is a good lead. What happens next? So the next thing that we're going to do is we are going to create another tag here. And this tag is going to be based off of, this tag is going to be the action set, meaning that if they qualify, then we'll schedule an appointment or add them to a callback list. So inside of that, you're also going to have another one of these decision diamonds here because that's just kind of how the world works. Have that right there. So if it's good, if one call is going there, that's going to be one tag. So we're going to call this one appointment tag, and we're going to create another one down here that we're going to call callback tag. But the beauty of it is both of these still do the same thing, essentially, meaning that they're both, I would still consider both of these a win. These are both going to be the success from this. The other thing that we want to look for. So the other thing that we're going to be watching out for this inside of these goals, inside of these setter functions, we also want to watch the performance. Um, so if we're going to be watching the performance of our AI bot, the first thing we need to think about is we need to think about, and you notice this is just this first one. Like we haven't even touched the other three inside of this one scenario here. This thing's gonna get real big and bulky. That's all right. That's the fun of it. All right, so let's think through our tracking here real quick. So we've got a tracking tag here that basically is going to. So this tag, we're going to call this tracking tag 1. And all this is going to be doing is letting us know that it's going to let us know that the AI bot has called it. Then from here, the other thing that we are going to need to do is we are going to need to create a tag over here as well. That's what I was missing with this process. So we're going to grab a tag and we're going to throw this over here. Okay. And we're going to call this tracking tag 2. Why? Because it just works. Simple. All right, so we got tracking tag 1, we've got tracking tag 2. So now we know that they've made a call. Now we know that after the call, if the call was complete, I think we actually need to put a tag right there as well. We're going to sneak this one right in here. We're going to call that one tracking tag 2. We'll call this one tracking tag 3. And then from there, we're going to be able to see these are actually going to be tracking tags as well, because we're going to be able to see that if they go this way and they don't have this, then it was a successful call or it was done. Then the other thing that we're going to think about, sorry, my brain's reeling as I'm going through this, thinking through different ideas. We're going to create a dud report. A dud report is essentially what it's going to do is it's going to keep track of. We're going to keep track of like what. Just basically export the number of duds that are removed during the campaigns. And the reason I like doing that is because if you think about this, like the tag can only be counted if it's actually in the account. With these duds, since we're removing the contact, then we need to be able to track that. Is we're going to have to create a report for that, or we're going to have some way to keep track of those numbers outside of the normal functionality, because there is no more contact record for that person now. All right, so they make the call, they track. You have tracking tag, you have data collection. You're going to determine the outcome. We're going to use AI to dissect the outcome of that call. From there, it's going to be SAL qualified or it's going to be dud. And then it's going to take it from there. It's either going to put it in the nurture or the dud. Let's take the kill off. That seems a little too aggressive for a Tuesday. So it's either going to be nurture or dud, because there's no other actions for us from there. And then from here, if it is a good call, then it's either going to be the appointment's going to be tagged. It's going to be tagged that an appointment was scheduled, or it's going to create a tag for a callback. So that's if it's completed. Next, let's be thinking about how do we want to structure this. Next, we want to be thinking about voicemails. We've got our other 3 systems here that we want to think through. Our other 3 options that we have with call. So let's think through, what does this look like as a voicemail? Meaning, so the next step is we're going to look at this and go, okay, if we call, if it's a voicemail, what does that look like? What does our automation sequence look like? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to leave voicemail, and this is something we're going to automate. We're going to leave voicemail. Next thing we're going to do, create a note. The other thing I want to do is we're going to send an SMS, text message saying, hey, just reaching out. Call me back when you're available. Send SMS. What else? What else? What else? Okay, so we call them. We get voicemail. We're going to create note. So from here, the other thing that we want to be thinking about is we want to be thinking about our follow-up. So to do that, we need to be thinking through. We want to also be thinking through, what does this look like if you call them once and they don't answer? When do you want to call them again? How soon do you want to call them again? Okay, so this is going to take me down a much, much bigger rabbit hole. I'm already past my 30-minute mark, but that's okay. We're just going to keep riding. I'm having fun here. My brain's finally working today, and it feels good. So we're just going to roll with it for a bit. All right, we've got we've got voicemails, we've got leave voicemail. So I think the next thing that we need to think about inside of this process is, I want to be thinking about, what does this look like? What does this look like if we have? What does this look like from a follow-up standpoint? So this little box right here just throws us all into a tailspin. And it's a good tailspin. This is something that we need to think through. So we're going to let's create a follow-up sequence. Follow-up strategy. Turn that one blue. So what does this look like? What does a follow-up strategy look like? So I'm going to map out my follow-up strategy of what I would want, and then you guys can customize this as you get the SnapOn and you add it yourself. So we're gonna do day one. We're gonna call this 2 calls, 2 text. Is that aggressive? Absolutely it is. Why do we want it aggressive? Because it's our money. That's what we do. Day 2, we're also going to do 2 calls. And then I'm going to leave the 2 text out of it, because this is, again, this is just for this is going to be just for our AI Callbot. So like there will be some texts that are conversational that will happen inside of there. But the bigger part of this is that we don't want to you don't want to have it sending a bunch of text messages. There should be text campaigns and email campaigns that are happening, whether it's your nurture campaign or specific to like the opt-in sequence they use. So I feel like that can be a bit overkill if we start getting into that too in depth. So we're going to we're gonna leave that out. So day 1, 2 calls. Day 2, 2 calls. Day 3, 1 call. and we're going to go day 5, 1 call, and day 7, 1 call. Now, the other thing that I want to do, now that I put this follow-up sequence in there, my brain started thinking about what does this look like from an engagement side. So if these are like the whole assumption here is that like with this callbot, with the callbot, it's calling new opportunities, new contacts, new leads that are coming into the system for you. Meaning that like you shouldn't be calling people that you've already talked to or people that have already been through some of the process. That like that it's overkill. Like we don't need to do that. But there are again, this because this is just for the setters, because the other side of this, and here's why. Like when we start getting into sales, the reason that I think this is that I'm thinking through this strategy is because I'm thinking like, okay, for sales, I'm going to be looking at this going, hey, if I'm doing a webinar, I can have my AI Callbot reach out to everybody that's in my list to let them know about the webinar, or if I'm doing a live stream, about the live stream. Like there's so many different utilities that you can do with this that you want to be careful. We want to be careful to leave room for everything else. But right now we're just working on the AI Callbot. So where my brain was going is actually a little bit outside of what the function is. I just need to think through, or what we're actually doing here, and I just need to think through that. Okay, so we're back to so we leave a voicemail. We get the voicemail. We leave a voicemail. We create a note, send an SMS, and then from here, the next thing that we want to do is put back in line for follow-up. What this is going to look like, putting it back in line for follow-up, means that basically we're going to create a wait, and what that means is that we're just going to have the system wait before it sends that out, and then from there, then we're going to actually come in and add it back to our call list from there. Bit all over the place here. This cleaned up. Why? Because design matters. All right. Okay, and now you may be thinking, okay, how am I going to put these in call lists, all that? We'll actually get into all of that, but not today. Right now, we're just right now, I just want to map out our strategy. That way, when we hop in here and we start building it, we've got everything mapped out. We've already got it ready to go. What's going to happen? So we're going to put it back in line for follow-up. We're going to make it wait for the amount of time that it needs to, based off of where it's at in our follow-up strategy there. And then we're going to put it back in the call list and go from there. Okay, so busy, and these next two are actually going to be pretty close to the same. So busy, we're actually not going to leave a voicemail, but I'm going to just interject it right there under the create notes, send SMS, and put back for follow-up. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm actually going to leave a voicemail up here for no answer. So that way, if there's no answer, it will leave a voicemail. If it's busy, it's just going to create a note, send an SMS, and then try calling back later. And if we get voicemail, then we're going to leave a voicemail. Actually, this one means that the voicemail is not set up. Sorry. So we are going to move this over here to no answer. So if it's no answer, then so basically, if it hits voicemail, it's going to leave a voicemail and go through the rest of these steps. If it's busy or there's no answer, then it will just create a note, send SMS, put it back in line for the follow-up there. Okay, did I miss anything on this, guys? Is there something that is there something here that we didn't collect, that we didn't do, that we should have done? Is there something that we're missing in this sequence for this first part? I don't think so. Okay. This automation, that's actually all this stuff covered down there. And then we're going to go to appointments, calendars. Okay. So that's our setter, our setter functionality. And now that I'm looking at this, guys, I think this is going to be something that we're going to have to build out over time together. But um, I think what we do from here, and if you don't like this idea, let me know. But I think what I want to do is I want to just start right here for now. So for our first snap-on, we're going to just roll this out. We're not even going to get to these other ones. We'll create other AI call bots workflows for these different functions over here. So for right now, I'm going to put these over here so they stay out of our way. And I think this makes sense. So basically, we're going to make it so that this happens, leave voicemail, then we're going to go to our follow-up strategy from there. Right? Sounds like a plan to me. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I like this. Okay, so so I'm really happy with this. This is just a map, right? Or is this the workflow section? No, this is just the map for right now, right? Like I'm gonna give this to my team and I'm gonna have them build it out. That way, on our next live it should be Thursday that we do this again. I'll actually have the automations are already built out, and I'll just show you guys, because when we're getting into like the AI call bots, there's a lot that goes into like training the bots, setting up all the workflows. And again, this is going to be a snap-on that's going to be available for you, meaning that everything that we're building, you're going to be able to click and plug it into your CRM as well. So that way you don't have to go through and kind of figure all this out. But yeah, this is just mapping it. And the reason that I like doing this is when it's something bigger like this that I haven't done, because I've integrated AI call bots, but I've never built out all the automations and workflows for myself. But these are going to be ones that we're going to be using. We're going to be testing this first, and my goal is by Friday to actually have this up and going so we can start running tests with the AI call bots for you guys. And then if it works and you guys like it, we'll have it ready to load up next week so that you guys can get out here and start using this. And where I think this is going to work incredibly well is like if you're running ads or if you buy a list. So buying list inside of Profit Lifter or any Go High Level account, it's a massive no-no. Like they only want you emailing and texting people who have specifically opted in for your campaign. With the AI call bot, it's not using your emails. And so the one thing that you have to be very careful of, though, is like as soon as the AI call bots came out, there was federal regulation like within a week, like ridiculously fast, that they came out and they said, we don't want these calling people who have not opted in. And again, this is why we have this set up as like our trigger is them actually opting in. So where I'm going to be using this is we're actually working on running our first set of ads for Profit Lifter. And so where I want to put this is I'm going to put this in everybody who opts in for the ad is going to be getting calls from the AI bot trying to set appointments for Brett for the sales process and working through that. So that's kind of where yeah, this is all just the mapping for right now. Then once we're done with the mapping, like this, I'm going to give it to my dev team, have them start building this out. So that way I can just see it in action, and then we can jump into more of the technical side of what does it look like to program the AI bots, what what steps go into that, how do we teach it the language, how do we program it. I'm going to show you guys all of that because like with AI, like I think the more that you're empowered to use it, the better off you're going to be. Because I mean, I'll be honest, guys. My age really started showing with AI because like I'm like, it's a new tool, I don't want to use it, and I realized, man, this is almost exactly like the rise of the internet, or like even more relevant would be like social media accounts, where I was looking at this going, man, there's a lot to learn. I already know a lot of this stuff in different areas, but if you miss it, you're gonna miss a lot. Like there's just a massive wave already happening with AI, and I want you guys to get good with it. I want you to understand how to optimize your time, how to make the most out of the least amount of work, the least amount of ad spend or work possible with it. So hope this helps, guys. This is like I said, this is our first round at this. So later this week, we'll be getting into actually building out the different calls, the programming the AI bot, and testing it out with you. So until next time, have an amazing day. You guys are all awesome. And we will see you tomorrow. We're going to be live a little bit more of everyone else. And by the way, guys, if you haven't done it yet, do me a favor, go like the Profit Lifter page on Facebook if you're hanging out in the group. I need 100 people to like the page before I can go live out there on the page in the native again. So please just do me a favor, go like our Profit Lifter page on Facebook. You guys on YouTube, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Do me a favor, it helps boost with the algorithm, makes everybody happy. So have a great day, and we will see you guys tomorrow, where we're going to be going more in depth on like different use cases for AI. Since we're building it, we're going to do more training on that. All right.